Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself first? Okay. Hi, I'm Jayden Cruz, as you guys have seen from our other videos. This is my twin sister,
Kayla Cruz.
We're doing this video to tell everybody about Alaric and I's story. In our last video, that was when I just found out I was pregnant and nobody knew, so I've had him now. Let's see, where do I start? So I had him early. I was induced because he stopped growing in my stomach at 30 weeks. We pushed it off as long as we could to see if we could get him to grow, but I got induced at 39 weeks, so almost full term. I had him on Monday, August 11th this year. We stayed in the hospital for 3 days. He was jaundiced. He was put under the light.
You might want to explain that.
Oh, jaundice is like, what is it, blue belly ribbon or something? Okay, well, it's pretty much where their skin is like transparent. They have to be put under this special light.
Like you can see through it.
Yeah, their skin looks it looks yellowish instead of like a normal color. So he was put under a special light for a day, and then we couldn't get him to eat. And what we did get him to eat was not very much. I'm going to show you guys this. Ignore Instagram. I said 3 milliliters. I thought this was 3. It's 1 milliliter. This is what he was eating a day. We couldn't get him to eat any more than that. We got sent home after 3 days of me giving birth to him. I was feeding him this as much as I could. Then after 2 days, we were back in the ER because he was really sick. He wasn't gaining weight. He wasn't eating. He was vomiting.
He was losing weight.
Yeah. So they pretty much just ignored me because I'm a teen mom and sent us home. So we waited a few more days. Well, then he started projectile vomiting, like a lot more than what I was giving him. So we went back to the ER, stayed there. He was having breathing issues, and they sent us home on this. It was for to check his oxygen. I don't have the machine anymore, just the cord. This little part wraps around his little toe. So cute. So he's put on. They sent us home after that, and he was on the little oxygen thing. Oh, this is what he was in when he came home. This was too big for him. This is a preemie outfit. My favorite. So after that happened, he started getting a cough. He wasn't eating for me anymore. Like, he was refusing a bottle. He had a fever of 101.3, which is when we took him in again. And I told them again, I was like, he's projectile vomiting. They told us that night that they needed to do some tests on him, and we stayed there for forever. And then we eventually got kicked out of his room for tests, which really irritated everyone. We waited we waited in the emergency room waiting room for 45 minutes while they did his spinal tap. When they brought us back, they told me that we were going to be admitted to the NICU. So we stayed in the NICU at Lutheran for about 4 days, and then they came and told us that they needed more tests to be done on him, so we got transferred to Children's Hospital by ambulance. When we got there, he still wasn't gaining weight, and we weren't allowed to go home until he did gain some weight. He wasn't gaining weight. He was doing nothing but losing it. Every time I fed him, he was vomiting it up. We weren't allowed to hold him at first at all or touch him if he cried.
Lutheran.
Yeah, at Lutheran we weren't allowed to touch him or anything. Then when we got to Children's, it was pretty much just we went and got all these tests done every few hours. They pushed me and pushed me and pushed me to keep trying to feed him every 2 hours. He was still throwing everything up. They finally diagnosed him with gastroesophageal reflex. They gave him I know that's good. They gave him a medicine, ranitidine. It doesn't help with the reflex. It doesn't go away. It just helps it to make it not hurt when he throws up, because it feels like heartburn when he does throw it up. So he's been on that ever since. Then one night he choked and stopped breathing, and I had to run out and go get nurses as fast as I could, and they wouldn't let me back in the room for like 10-15 minutes. I just sat out in the hallway. And that's scary by yourself. But when they finally did get him situated and everything, they let me back in the room. He was hooked up to an oxygen tank at the time. He did throw up a few more times after that. Just I didn't feed him again. He was just throwing up. They did more tests, couldn't tell me why he was choking and stopped breathing. So after being there for about a week, he had his team, it's called a purple team. He had about 15 people that came in every morning to check on him and talk with me about his schedule for the day. We made a plan every single day, our goals, how much we wanted him to gain, how many ounces we wanted him to eat. He stopped breathing on me a few times, but they couldn't tell me why that was happening. They told me it was just because he was choking on his vomit. So after a while, when he did finally gain weight, we were allowed to go home. So they sent us home, and he did good for a little bit, but then, and he tested positive for the rhinovirus at the hospital. But after we got home, he started wheezing, coughing. He started to refuse a bottle after a while. He had a temperature. What else? He was still vomiting.
Still choking. Super fussy.
Yeah, he was super fussy. So I called his doctor and everything. And while I was on the phone with his doctor, my mom was holding him, and he stopped breathing on her. And I told his doctor immediately, and she told me to take him into the ER. So we went into the ER, what was that? Monday night. We went into the ER Monday night, and were there until 4:30 in the morning. They did some tests. They stuck a tube. They stuck a tube up his nose so that they could clear everything out. And pretty much they didn't really tell me anything. They just sent me home. And then after I got home, we didn't sleep at all. He would not stop crying. My doctor called me first thing in the morning when the doctor's office called and told me that she wanted me to come in and she needed to talk to me. So we went in. She looked at him. She told me, when I first walked in, she told me to sit down, and she was going to look at him. So she looked at him, and then she told me that she was going to go get another doctor to look at him just to make sure that the ER had told her right and that everybody was hearing the same thing. So another doctor came in, looked at him, and then they barely talked in front of me. I didn't know what was going on. They just told me, while they were talking to each other, they just said, yeah, I hear what you're hearing. And then they told me that they were going to go out in the hallway and talk. So I let them go out in the hallway and talk. And then his doctor came back in, and she told me that he has a heart murmur. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a hole in the heart. And some babies can be born with it, and it can be normal. But
It can also go away.
Yeah, it can also close and go away on its own. But they were worried about his because they were just now starting to hear it. So she wanted me to go see a cardiologist in the morning. So we went in and saw a cardiologist the next morning, and he got more tests done, was hooked up to more things. The cardiologist looked at every part of his heart. He got an ultrasound done. They showed me the hole in his heart, and it is a fairly large hole for a baby that's that small. They don't know if it's going to close on its own because it is so big. So he's going to be coming home. They ordered him a heart monitor on Tuesday. He'll be coming home with that. It alarms. He'll be hooked up to it 24/7. It alarms us if he stops breathing and if he starts working too hard to breathe. So that's good. We'll know, at least hopefully we'll be able to get some sleep and not have to worry about him not breathing. So he'll be coming home on that, and then after a while they're going to decide if he needs to be put on oxygen or not, and if the hole still isn't closing, then he's most likely going to have to get open heart surgery, but we don't know yet, and we're really hoping not. So that's what we found out on Thursday. So wow. Hold on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. When his machine comes in, we'll be going to the doctors and learning how to use it and all that, and learning how to take it with us when we leave the house. But besides that, that's it. We saw doctors every day last week. He sees doctors often. If anything goes wrong with him, he immediately has to go to the ER. So we're hoping not. But that's Alaric and I's story. I'll introduce you guys to him if you want to bring him to me. Okay. This is Alaric. Like, he's getting bigger. I know it doesn't seem like that to you guys. You guys didn't see him. Barely. Yeah, but this is Alaric. Jayden Cruz, that's his full name. Ugh. He just ate, so he's tired. Is there anything I forgot?
His problem sucking.
I was originally going to breastfeed, but we couldn't get him to latch, and it wasn't producing enough, and since he has the reflex that he does have, he is put on Alaric. It doesn't have acid in it. In the milk, there's no acid, and the proteins are more broken down so that he can keep more down. So I can't breastfeed anymore. I encourage breastfeeding. I think that's it.
Let's sit him on the floor. I don't want his head to drop.
He's really strong. He's starting to hold his head up. And he's 5 weeks old. Okay. Well, he's getting fussy. So that's our story. We'll put more videos up with updates and everything. But
Not quite the
but for now, that's it. How do I?